Hi everybody, just a quick one here. I have been going to medical doctors to have my ears syringed when it gets filled with wax, and sometimes it can get extremely painful before you have the treatment. I often discover that there's some home care remedies where you get this syringe thing and put the liquid in, but that's never worked for me, these little kits. That's my personal experience, okay? Going to the doctor, my first experience was with them taking this metal thing that's got a round thing at the end and they scrape out the wax. That for me, and I don't know who else has experienced it, but it was so painful because the wax that gets stuck on the inner ear as you pull it, it was sore, and there was a little bit of bleeding also, so I didn't kind of appreciate that. I ultimately went for syringing, and that was really cool. So the syringe is big unit, warm water in here. But then again, I went in another city for my syringing, and this doctor used cold water to syringe in the ear. It was quite unpleasant. And yeah, and then you have the home care thing that I shared with you, then that wax thing that they put in and they heat the wax sort of at the top like a funnel, and they heat and it's supposed to extract the thing, you know. People say it all works. I don't do chance with fire near my face. So I was looking now, I thought, okay, I needed to get to the doctor, and I thought maybe there's another solution. Now I use hydrogen peroxide in my humidifier in the house. I use a 3% food grade, mix it 1 to 4 in the humidifier. I use hydrogen peroxide. I'll even show you this here. This is 3%. I use, it's food grade. I use that in my water tanks, my rainwater harvesting tanks. Now, I started doing a bit of research and found there's folks that are using the 3% for their ears to clear out the wax. And I went to this bottle and found out now there's something in there, but there's just water in there. I looked and checked if I had any left. I had nothing. I'd thrown it all into the rainwater harvesting thing. So I went down to the chemist and I went to go and get, at Dischem here by us, I went to go get 12% hydrogen peroxide. Okay, so it has to be food grade hydrogen peroxide. Okay, so I got 12%, and then I wanted to get it down to 3%. Now that calculation, you've got to maybe watch a video to see how they do it. But in my case, I had to take this out, I poured it into a clean container, and then I used distilled water. I filled this up. So this is 100 mils. I filled this thing up. I did 1, added 2, 3. So I had 3 bottles of this, which is 300 mils. Added it to the 12%, the 100 mils, and that diluted it to 3% for me. So then I had 3% food grade hydrogen peroxide. And what I did was, here again, before you go and do anything in your ears, whether it is putting chemicals in or fiddling in your ears, make sure that your eardrums are healthy. If you have a hole in your eardrum, you don't want to be putting any strange objects or any liquids in there, okay? So that's just the disclaimer. And this is my anecdotal evidence. This is what I do and this is what helps me. So hopefully you see it for what it is. So in this bottle now, I had 3% hydrogen peroxide. Now some people recommend you take this and you mix it 50-50 with distilled water. So you're diluting this even further when you use it in your ears. I use the 3% as it is, and that works perfectly for me. So what you can do is, to make life simple, you can get a dropper. I just use a simple syringe and I put it in there. Now, you've got to excuse me, but I'm not going to do it now. I did it yesterday. That's when I put it in, and I didn't do a video at the same time. I might do it when my next time happens, which probably will be maybe in a month, 2 months' time, if my ears start to clog up. Okay. Again, a warning, you shouldn't be doing this too regularly because the hydrogen peroxide works effectively, but it will dry out your ear canal if you're putting too many chemicals in there. So I'll take this up into the syringe. And the reason why I use this 3 ml syringe is I can use this to put the drops of hydrogen peroxide in my ear, 3%. And when I'm done, I can get some warm distilled water, put it in here and squirt it in there without worrying about the pressure being too much. If you are able at your pharmacy to get the bigger syringe with the tip that goes on, it's closed at the top point, but it's got holes on the side. That's used for syringing out the ear. That is the ideal. But because they didn't have it at the pharmacy, I took a smaller syringe which wouldn't create a lot of pressure, and it's just for rinsing out the loose wax. Okay, so I put in hydrogen peroxide, turn on your side and drop 10 drops. Now you've got to look in the mirror. If you're in the bathroom, look in the mirror and drop 10 drops into the ear that you are treating at the moment. So you'll go in, and here is the weirdest thing. If you've never done that before, it's the weirdest thing to feel, because all of a sudden you start to hear this popping and crackling, like it's the hydrogen peroxide forming bubbles and loosening up. It's reacting with the wax. It's dissolving the wax. If any of you have used the hydrogen peroxide that's in your medical kit, your 3% on a wound, you'll know what I'm talking about. When you put it on the wound, you'll see the bubbles forming. But this is now in your ear, so you're hearing all these bubbles going. Some folk would say lie down on the bed with your ear for 5 minutes or 10 minutes. I usually lie down until the bubbling stops, which sometimes come to 4 minutes, sometimes it will go to 6 minutes. But you lie down, and when the bubbling stops, the reaction is kind of done. Then I'll walk like that to the basin and then tip it down in this way. Now the reason I put in 10 drops, 6 drops would probably work, but the 10 drops is that there's more liquid in and it's easier to drain out when you're done. Okay, put it there, and what you'll notice is you'll see this brown gum coming out. It's the wax dissolved. It comes out really cool. And then I'll take the syringe, I'll put in the distilled water, pull it through there, and I'll keep the head here and just squeeze it in to irrigate it so that the extra comes out. And if you're standing in front of a mirror, it's about the best because you can see the brown running out, and it usually tips into the basin. Okay, remember again, don't put too much pressure in, don't squirt hard in. Although this protects you because it's so small, but don't use a big syringe and go psh, because you want to get hard in there, you're going to damage your eardrums. And yeah, that clears it, and then you can go on to the other ear and try and use that. Now, once again, I'm not giving you advice that you should go do, and it applies to everybody. I'm saying this is what I do. Caution, make sure your eardrums don't have any perforations. Use the 3%. Don't think that you're going to make it work better if you're using 6% or 12%. Don't do that. Hydrogen peroxide can be your best friend, and it can be your worst enemy if you're using an excessive amount, excessive concentration on your body. Okay, for those of you who are doubting the efficacy of hydrogen peroxide, you can go look at a whole lot of YouTube videos. But as mentioned, I use it in my humidifier during the pandemic thing. I used to do it as prophylactically in a nebulizer, just part of my normal protection. And you know, I'm still here after what, 2-3 years, whatever it is. Okay, so yeah, that's my suggestion for you. Hopefully it's going to help you. 3% food grade hydrogen peroxide, 10 drops, buzz stops, clear out, to the other side, and you're A for away. So have a fantastic day, be blessed, and shalom to you all.